Hey everyone, my name is Wedge. With Eldritch Moon's release this weekend, I'm sure the next, month or so is going to be filled with a ton of limited, like a lot of it. Not to worry, we've been testing the set straight to death, and I'm here to talk to you about the best commons and uncommons in each color for limited. So when you open your pack and this is your rare, or this, or even this, you at least have some idea what to take instead. Commons and uncommons are the backbone to any good draft deck, so hopefully this video helps you out. Time to take notes. Enjoy. As always, we'll begin with white uncommons and move accordingly through rarity and color. The best white uncommon for limited purposes, Faith Unbroken. Now we've spoken about removal being king before, and it always will be, forever. But Faith Unbroken goes one step further. Not only do you get to send something to the Exile Aether, but you also get a buffed creature. There are cards that cost this much mana that do only one of those things on this card, but both? And only a single white is a color requirement? Yes, please. Faith Unbroken swings tons of games in your favor. Easy first pick as far as I'm concerned. The downside of getting 2 for 1 is there, but when they don't remove it, oh baby. The second best white uncommon is pretty close between Blessed Alliance and Subjugator Angel, but I'm confident that Alliance is just better. It's pseudo removal, which is nice. The escalate cost is pretty fair, and being able to both make your opponent sack a creature and untap your own creatures to block could change the course of a game. Of course, everything has to happen perfectly for that to work, but come on, we're talking about a Swiss Army knife uncommon here. It'll work just fine. Moving on to white commons, I strongly believe that Choking Restraint deserves all the praise it's getting. It does have the annoying downside of not being able to stop activated abilities, but I really don't care too much about that. Being able to stop attacking and blocking worked for pacifism, it'll work here. Being able to remove the creature if things get really bad, just icing on a cake that didn't even need more icing. White commons are actually pretty deep in this set, believe it or not. I do think that the best white common that isn't the restraints is Sigardian Priest, but that's basically because it acts as pseudo removal, and you know how I feel about removal. Past the Priest, though, you have great cards like Guardian of Pilgrims, Desperate Sentry, Steadfast Cathar. These are all decent white commons. I wouldn't want to first pick any of them, but if I had to, the Priest is good stuff, if the restraints are nowhere to be seen, of course. Moving on to blue, we'll begin with the uncommons first. I won't lie, this color and specifically this rarity, not a great showing for limited. There are playable cards, but as far as first pick top tier choices, really not a lot to work with. Advanced Stitchwing might be the best of the bunch. 5 mana for a 3/4 flyer is definitely above average and should be able to fight most anything. The ability to bring it back is nothing to ignore either. It's a strong flyer, one of the strongest in the set. The only other blue uncommon I think you'd be super excited to see is Scour the Laboratory. 6 mana is a lot, but getting 3 cards at instant speed for your trouble, there are worse ways to spend mana, especially if you have Delirium enabled. Then this becomes a powerhouse. 4 mana at instant speed for 3 cards, that's just broken. Besides the Stitchwing, this is the blue uncommon you're hoping for. Blue commons definitely fared better than uncommons this time around, with Tattered Haunter leading the pack. I'm sorry, but I can't ignore 2 mana 2 power flyers. There's never been a time where I haven't advocated for this type of card. You're not blocking anyway, so who cares about the drawback? A turn 2 power creature with evasion, this is a very good card, and as far as I'm concerned, far and away the best blue common. It's not close. If I did have to pick a second blue common though, it would be Ingenious Scob. I also think this is a particularly easy choice. It's like Water Courser, but on a lot of zombie steroids. That prowess ability puts it way over the top for me. I honestly think this should be an uncommon, strict upgrade to the Courser, which was already a very good card. Scob is amazing, trust me. An argument can be made for Exaltant Cultist, but I don't think it's nearly as good as the 2 cards I mentioned. But I know some of you are going to mention it, so here it is. In Eldritch Moon, black came to play hard. Both black commons and uncommons are deep in quality, like impressively deep. It's really difficult to choose just 2 black uncommons. But when I'm forced to, I err on the side of caution and go for amazing removal. We'll start with Murder. It's unconditional removal at instant speed. You destroy a creature, done. This simplicity is what makes the card top tier, and it should be first picked above most rares in the set. Easily, it's not close. Murder's crazy strong. After Murder, sorry, gotta stick with removal. Ruthless Disposal is a removal bomb if I've ever seen one. You get to enable Delirium for yourself, sack a creature you don't want maybe, and you get around indestructibility and take down basically anything in the game. 2 creatures each get -13, -13, that's just brutal. Again, indestructible doesn't help, hard to pump a creature enough not to die to negative 13 toughness. Ruthless Disposal, while seeming like it has a really high cost, doesn't. In testing, you always wanted this card and it always worked out really well, usually changing the entire pace of the game in an instant. I did say black uncommons were deep. They are. If you want some great black uncommons that aren't removal, I got your back. Rise from the Grave is a wonderful reanimation spell. It's been around before and it was awesome. It's here again and it's awesome. Play this. It lets you choose a creature from any graveyard, for goodness sake. My favorite black uncommon creatures? Haunted Dead and Dusk Feaster. The Dead's fantastic. For 4 mana, you get a 2/2 and a 1/1 flyer, and the ability to bring it back from the yard for even more spirit action if you need it. Talk about resilience. Certainly one of my favorite cards in the entire set, to be honest. Dusk Feaster comes with a caveat. You really need to be in Delirium for it to be good, but if you are, 5 mana 4/5 flyers are insanity. Like, we're talking rare to mythic bomb level hugeness. If you find yourself anywhere near Delirium, or you think your deck could hit it, the Feaster should be a relatively high priority pick for you. Because when it works, it takes over games by itself. 4 damage in the air, yeah, that's scary. Black commons are also impressively deep. I do believe the best one is Boon of Emrakul, but you probably already knew that because I'm a removal fanatic and I can't resist a good removal enchantment. Hits the yard, helps your Delirium in addition to killing something, seems good to me. You know what also seems good? Certain Death. 6 mana to destroy any creature and you drain life for 2. 6 mana is a lot and it's sorcery speed, but you're destroying pretty much whatever you want and creating a 4-point life swing. There are worse cards out there as commons, and Eldritch Moon isn't as fast as Shadows Limited was, so you'll play this card at least 1 copy. Make sure if you're running black, you get at least one of these. It's very good, even for the cost. Besides those 2 cards, I really like Olivia's Dragoons for the free Madness enabling and Thraben Foul Bloods because it's one of the better Delirium payoff cards at the common level. If you're into either one of those strategies, these are the 2 cards at the common level in black you should be looking for. Red uncommons. I had a really difficult time picking only 2. This is another color and rarity that is surprisingly deep. I want to say Savage Alliance is the best red uncommon, but Smoldering Werewolf doesn't make it easy. The Alliance lets you pay 4 mana, bolt something, and deal 1 damage to everything else, hoping you grab a few 1 toughness creatures along the way. Great removal spell, and it could change the course of combat really quickly with that 1 damage to everything. Don't underestimate that. On the other hand, the werewolf enters the battlefield dealing 1 damage to each of up to 2 target creatures. That's hugely important. Drop after a key combat, kill something, and you have a 3/2 that has inevitability. Once it does flip, you get another pseudo-removal burn spell and a giant 6/4. While I don't much like the new Werewolf Eldrazi mechanic, I do find that this particular werewolf benefits from it greatly. It's super powerful. Of course, red wouldn't be red without removal. Incendiary Flow is first pickable, so is Spreading Flames. Both of those are great. If you want more powerful red uncommons, look no further than Conduit of Storms and Insatiable Gorgers. If you can attack with a Conduit, that's some nice ramp. Best part is you don't even need to deal combat damage, just attack. That's good stuff. Insatiable Gorgers is like Incorrigible Use, but a little older and more rebellious. 5 power is big in this format. Not much can stop it. Good beater in any red deck, even without madness. Red commons aren't nearly as impressive as red uncommons, but they'll do their job just fine. We'll begin with what I consider the best red common by far, Galvanic Bombardment. A card that is designed to work with itself is still friggin' awesome as a one-of. 1 mana and instant speed for 2 damage? Sure, sign me up. That's great in any format. Kills most 2-drops and, half of all the 3-drops? It's fantastic. The only other red common that gives it a run for its money is Alchemist Greeting. But even then, I don't think it's all that close. The Greeting is great as, removal, but having Madness makes it incredibly strong, especially in a format where cards like Olivia's Dragoons exist. Easy Madness enablers are walking around in this limited format. Greeting will love it. Almost done. Last but not least, green cards. Uncommons first as per usual. It seems Wizards got the memo about how bad green was in Battle for Zendikar Limited because they're really making up for it now. Clearshot and Somberwald Stag are the best green uncommons. These cards are crazy strong. Clearshot is Rabid Bite on rabies, and the Stag is a walking 2-for-1 stick. Rabid Bite was amazing as a common, so don't think that requiring a creature makes Clearshot any worse. It doesn't, at all. Instant speed helps. That +1/+1 helps. This is everything you want from a green removal spell. It's hugely important, definitely first pickable. The same goes for the Stag. 5 mana for a 4/3 that brings a removal spell with it, you'll take it. 4 damage will destroy almost anything you care about, and it can survive a 2-power hit back, so not like it'll die immediately some of the time. Great fight card, that's first pickable for sure. Green commons are pretty straightforward, and if I'm being honest, a tad lackluster. Prey Upon is the best green common. Obviously, it's easy removal, you kind of have to run it, that's simple. Beyond that though, not looking great as far as I'm concerned. I like Backwoods Survivalist because the Delirium is pretty good on it. It makes it decently powerful for only 4 mana, but besides that, maybe Grapple with the Past, maybe Ovenwald Captive, I don't know. These videos are supposed to be about commons and uncommons you could first, second, or third pick, and honestly, I don't want to first pick any of these cards besides Prey Upon, and even then I'd rather not. I don't think green commons are bringing their A-game this time around. Wow, this video is long. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully it helps you as you take down Eldritch Moon drafts for the next month or so. Of course, let me know below what you think about our analysis of the set draft-wise. Do you like what we chose? Dislike it? This is all about helping other players after all, so please share your thoughts. I need them. As always, subscribe for the latest and most reliable Magic the Gathering information you could ever need. This is the Manosaurus. I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. This video is brought to you in part by TCGplayer.com. With Eldritch Moon finally released, you can enjoy drafting the set as much as you want. Yay! You can buy boxes right now for only $91. Yeah, that's crazy cheap. Much cheaper than what most of you are used to, I'm sure. If you want some packs to just draft with friends, you can buy those too for $3.29 a pack. Cheaper than MSRP if you just wanted them to draft. Seriously, cheap sealed product isn't all that easy to find without crazy shipping costs. TCG Player makes it easy. Just enjoy.
Wow.